Hello, my name is Nell Wood. Thank you so much for joining me for this yoga session. Hope you're finding yourself well and safe, of course healthy. This is going to be about an hour long and it's going to include relaxation. So hopefully you've got time and space to completely relax at the end. You'll also see me using blocks, and I'll use a blanket for cushion. So make sure you've got everything that you need in order to feel supported. I've also got a little something to drink, some water to wet my whistle, so make sure you have that as well. So this is going to be a gentle to light, moderate yoga class. I'm not even sure if we'll even get up off onto our feet. It might all be on seat, knees, and back. So to start with, settling in on your seat, finding that comfortable seated position. If you want to lean up against a wall, that's always a good call to help keep you upright and supported. And then let your eyes close, take your time settling in to your body. You are unhooking from all the stuff going on in the world, in your life, your to-do lists, all the stuff in your future, all the things in your past, and you are cultivating that connection to your breath. Letting that breath get fuller and deeper as you get more comfortable. Breathing any way that feels good to you, whether it be the nose or the mouth or a combination of the two. When you feel ready, start to build that 3-part yoga breath. That is when you fill up the lower third of your lungs, middle third of your lungs, and then the breath comes into the upper third, and then you exhale, upper third, middle third, lower third. So let yourself be with that 3-part yoga breath for a few rounds, noticing what it feels like. And then remembering to treat yourself with kindness, compassion, and love, no matter what you encounter in your own mind. Just bring yourself back to your breath, back to your body, back to the experience of yoga. When you find yourself distracted, because when you find yourself distracted and then you make the commitment to return is exactly when you're doing the practice right. And so staying with that awareness of your breath and your body, the next time you inhale, press down into your mat, your seat with your whole self. You can bring that gentle engagement in your lower body by tucking your tail under and grounding down with your sitting bones, and then pressing your knees away and flexing your feet. And you feel that support, that grounded in feeling, that rooted in feeling. Feel that come from within. And then on your next exhale, lift yourself up out of that place of connection. Take up all that space around you that you are meant to take up. And so this can be thinking about engagement or actively lifting the sternum, the heart. Feel that gentle pressure on the tops of your shoulders. Feel your blades come down and gently tuck in, not squeezing together. And you are still breathing that 3-part yoga breath, but let it be as full as can be for you. And when you fill up that lower third, think about really pressing your navel right there into the space in front of you. And when that breath goes into the middle third, feel your ribs move up and apart. And then that breath, when it enters up into that upper third, feel that heart actively move up in your chest. And then exhale, heart and chest relax. Your ribs come down and together, and now you pull that navel back and up into your body. And then the inhale happens again, filling up, navel, ribs, chest. Exhale fully, chest, ribs, navel. Another way to think of it is that navel is the starting point, and then you fill up to about the collarbone, and then exhale. Try to feel the breath back from that whole place in your body. Any engagement that you've added, let go. At any time it no longer serves you. Make sure you're comfortable in your seat. Your hands can make their way to your heart in prayer position, and just take a couple moments still with those deep breaths, setting an intention for your practice as you're doing it. I'm going to offer up the intention of feeling connected, and then also feeling that pull and that power to stretch into those places in front of you. And then let yourself breathe 3 big deep breaths. And then after your 3 breaths have come and gone, you can let your arms come down. If you are seated up against a wall or seated up on anything, you might want to move it away from you or out from underneath you. And we're going to start with just a gentle windshield wiper back and forth. Stay lifted with your heart. Try not to put all the weight into those limbs. Your knees are bent, your feet are on the floor. You're inhaling and exhaling, breathing full and deep. And then after a couple rounds, side to side, bring yourself back into that comfortable seated position. And if you can remember which way you had your legs crossed, maybe cross the opposite way in order to start to just get that evenness in your hips. And it's just an easy going side to side. So we're going to reach up, try to keep those shoulders out of your ears, reaching up and then bringing one arm down and reaching over. Stay with that sensation of support, and then also lift and length. Look, my cat's joining us. How lovely. That's good karma. Say hi, good karma. You silly Billy. All right, let yourself move side to side. And then pause, doesn't matter which side. Let that arm that's up on top reach. You don't have to have your whole arm down on the ground. You just have to be reaching. Try to find that length on both sides though. Inhaling and exhaling, and then bringing yourself through center and letting yourself move to the opposite side. Same idea. Stay supported and then stay lifted up off that support, and then bring yourself up, and then let yourself only come far forward as feels good. And this is a good place if you've got the blocks. If you want to bring the floor up to you, have your hands on the blocks and you're hinging here over those legs, finding that breath and staying with it, inhaling and exhaling, and then letting yourself come up into that upright position. And then once again, bend those knees. Remember which foot, which leg you had on top, and then, or in front. It doesn't matter if you had it on top or in front, but just remember, because you're going to do again, go the opposite. So reverse how you were sitting so your hips get that same engagement. And we're going to reach up and go side, or twist side to side now. So the arms come up, doesn't matter which way you go. You're just dropping one elbow down and then, or one hand down to one knee and one hand behind you. lifting and twisting, inhaling and exhaling, maybe taking that gentle gaze over that back arm. Breathing full and deep. Next time you are pausing to the right, let your right hand be behind you. Your left hand is on your right knee. Breathe full and deep. Stay twisted. Let that back right arm reach up and bring that right hand to that left knee. So now you bring your torso, your chest more towards the center, and then you're going to let go and then bring those arms up and twist the other way. So right hand to the left knee, left arm behind, stay twisted. Reach that left arm up to that right knee, and then just keep going. And I'm going to keep calling it out. Right arm behind, gentle twist, stay twisted. Right arm up and reach to that left knee. Trunk to the center, let go. Reach back up and twist. Right hand to left knee, left arm behind, stay twisted. Left arm reaches up, goes for that right knee. Pause through. Feel that nice stretch in the middle. Let's do it one more time. Each side, reach up. Right hand to the right. Left hand on right knee. Right arm reaches for that left knee. Last one, reaching up and wide and tall. And then right hand to left knee. Left arm behind. Stay twisted. Lift that left arm. Right arm to, or left arm to that right knee. Sorry if I messed that up. This is the last one, reaching up. Hopefully I didn't mess anybody up, but I don't think I did. Hands to your heart, your belly, one of each, out to the side, whatever feels good. Rest and notice what it feels like to be in your body. And then bring yourself over onto your hands and knees and press back into a child. And we are going to be on our knees for a bit, so make sure, and you have cushion, so take time to even maybe double up so you've got nice support, and then you're pressing yourself back in your child. Walk those legs as wide as feels good. Here's another great place to have blocks, and you can be reaching yourself into that space between your arms. Your shoulder girdle can be engaged, pulling those blades down and gently tucking them together, not squeezing them. So it's more of a opening than a squeezing. Inhaling and exhaling, opening your back up so it's nice and wide and smooth. And then if you do have your arms lifted, or even just reaching forward, you're going to feel that stretch underneath your underarms, and that can be a lot. So make sure that you support yourself. You can always bring your hands and rest them on the floor with your third eye resting on your hand, stacking like fist on fist. There's all kinds of things you can do. And let yourself completely be in your breath. And then after a couple rounds more of your breath, we're going to lift up into that table. So here's where we're going to add engagement before we do anything. Think about just gently tucking the tail. This is a little tiny move. I've got my hand right where your tail would be, and I'm just doing this little tiny move right here at my pelvis. I'm finding that perfect place of support for me, and you all have one too. You've got to just find it where you are engaging and pulling that tail down. Those hip flexors are engaged and fired up and supporting you, and now the movement is just going into the upper back, right at the shoulder blades. My elbows are bending. I'm not hyperextending my elbows, keeping my head nice and long, and I'm moving through a few cat and cow. So we just hit the low back and the upper back, and so hold that low back and that upper back in a supported place, and now start your cat and cow in that middle back. Find that space in that middle back that gets no love. And so you're moving as fast or as slow as feels good to you. Moving in that cat and cow, letting yourself really luxuriate in the movement. Breathing full and deep. Keep awareness on those elbows. Do not hyperextend them. Keep spreading your fingers really wide. Try to bring that weight to to the top part of your hand, not down by the wrist. All right, pause in a neutral position. Press yourself back into your child. If you've had all that engagement in your arms, you're going to want to rest down with your arms maybe by your sides, or with those two fists stacked on top of each other. And if you feel a lot of sensation in your wrists, you're gently winding your wrists. You're not doing a really strong move with, it's not a harsh move. It's a nice, gentle wrist rotation. And then you're going to come back up into that table. Find that place of complete engagement. Right arm, right knee, left knee. You are pressing down evenly. Feel yourself lift right there behind your navel, right in front of your tail. That is where I want you to start to feel all the movement initiating. That navel is where you were first born to, right? That's the beginning of you, and we promptly lose awareness of it after we're born. So bring your awareness back to that navel, and with that awareness then of moving from the center, press that left heel back and then reach those right arms forward to find that spinal balance. Keep pressing through that left heel. Make sure that left hip flexor is coming down to the floor. It's not rising up. And you have got those shoulders engaged. And of course, if it's not best for your body to have two limbs reaching, then only have one reaching. Inhaling and exhaling. And then you're going to bring yourself down. And don't worry, I'm going to remember, we did right arm, left leg. Hopefully you did that. If not, just make sure you manage. I want you to rest back into your child. Completely reset. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing how you feel. Breathing full and deep. Up into your table after that reset. Take your time. Send that right leg back. Remember to keep those hips square. So that means that right butt is not coming above that left butt. You're pressing through that right heel. Feel that right leg and maybe even take a gander. And if it is flying out to the right, you want to pull it into the midline and then stay lifted up off that right arm. Reach those left arms. Stay engaged and breathe full and deep. Feel this move coming right from that navel. You're pressing back from that navel with that right heel. You're reaching forward from that navel with those left fingers, and then you are releasing down, coming into your child, completely reset. Make sure that you take all the weight up off your arm, and you settle back into your space, taking up all the space that you are supposed to take up. So really feel yourself get big and feel yourself lift up out of your body from the inside. And it's the exact opposite of what we're told, especially if you're a woman. You're told to get small, don't take up a lot of space. So it's really hard to wrap your head around that sometimes. But the more you start to feel that power and taking up that space, oh my goodness, amazing. All right, we're going to be on our knees for a little bit more. Keep those knees right underneath those hips. You're going to lift yourself with that center of gravity, that navel and that tail coming up to that upright position. Make sure that you engage those hip flexors and those glutes. You always want to try to find that place of not squeezing to death, but definite engagement. And it's muscle and framework, not just muscle, which is all you ever hear about. I want you to also feel that framework. And then keeping awareness on, that's your lower girdle, your upper girdle, heart lifted, shoulders out of your ears. Reach those arms up as high as feels good. Maybe it's just right before you reach above your head, but maybe it feels all right to go right by your ear. And then if it feels all right, lift up out of that lower body and reach back behind you in that great big heart opener. You could always bend the elbows and find that opening that way. Keep that engagement in that lower girdle to support those low backs. You're gonna lift yourself up if you were in that back bend. Hands are gonna come down. Don't come down harshly on the mat. Come down nice and gently into your table, and then let that belly drop into that cow, and then exhale up into that cat. And then I like to take my knees just a little tiny bit apart. We're gonna come down into a big heart opener pose this way, down with the puppy dog stretch, coming down, letting that chin come to the ground, or your lips, your chest, reaching those arms forward, and then let yourself come back into that child and rest completely, inhaling and exhaling. And then once again, you might need to bring those knees back close together, press yourself up, find that length. You only have to reach up as much as feels good. Coming up and lengthening, make sure you feel supported in that girdle. Feel yourself moving from that center as you come down into that stable table, and then once again move through that cat and cow. And then bring yourself forward into that puppy dog stretch, letting that heart open, letting that middle back open, and then letting yourself roll back into your child, rest completely. And then third time, I like to do things in threes. Lift up, find your length, your support, find that reach up above and that heart opener, and then gently bring yourself down, right? You're not hurting yourself. It's not a clump down. It's a gentle engagement, and then move with intention and purpose into your cat and cow. Same with intention and purpose. Down into your puppy dog so you feel all the stretch. And now let yourself settle back into a child. Come completely and totally at rest. And this is where we're going to pause for a few breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Staying connected to your breath. Filling up belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling fully, chest, ribs, belly. And then this is where you might want some blocks. I'm going to have some blocks up. If you don't have blocks, it just needs to be something like block size and sturdy. And you don't want to put all your weight on the blocks anyway, so make sure it's something that, though, can help to steady you. Bring the floor up is what I like to say. All right, you're going to bring yourself up into that table, and then bring that right leg up between your hands. And so I have my hands on those blocks. I'm able to bring forward through in just one movement. If you want to take a couple steps forward, that is totally cool. But you're finding your place. You want to keep that left hip flexor right over that left knee. And you want to have that right knee right over that right ankle. So I can tell by looking that I need to move it back a little bit. Right foot, left knee, railroad tracks. And you are finding that length from your crown to your tail as you pause here in this knee down runner's lunge. And then make sure you engage those glutes and those hip flexors. Lift up into that knee down warrior one crescent. Breathing full and deep. Inhaling and exhaling. Use the ball of that right foot. Breathe full and deep. Hands come to your heart. Take your time. Breathe full and deep. And then use your hands on the floor or on the blocks to make sure you feel supported. You're going to take that back left leg, so from knee to foot, you're going to swing it from behind you to over to the right a little bit, and then that right front foot, it might come more towards the left. You're still got that left hip flexor underneath, that left knee underneath that left hip flexor, and now you're opening up into knee down warrior two. So It is just a way to get you to move that left side of your body so you can find that opening and from that inside of that right knee and the inside of the left hip flexor to come into that warrior two, that knee down warrior two. This is just as powerful as regular warrior two. Keep engaging that tail, the muscles and the framework. Keep bringing your tail down. Keep lifting your front body up. So those hip flexors are coming up. And we're going to come into that side angle so that it's a hinge with that right elbow resting, and then feel that beautiful, beautiful length on that left side, that stretch. Inhaling and exhaling. Keep breathing deep. And then lift yourself up into regular knee down warrior two. Flip that right palm and now reach into reverse knee down warrior two. And that left hand that's down, it can gently reach for as far as you need to reach it, which is only across the midline to the midline of your body, right to where your tail is. Keep trying to find that length, inhaling and exhaling, and then let yourself come back into that warrior two. And now let yourself windmill, so you're going to rotate your upper body. You might want to find the block to help you. Bring that right foot back, that right knee back to meet the left knee. You've got to get your legs back into a place that supports you, and then let yourself sit back into your child. Notice how that feels. Inhaling and exhaling, breathing full and deep. And then we're going to do the same thing, other side. I am merely turning around so I can stay facing you. So when you're ready, you're going to bring that left leg up between your hands or your blocks. Take your time. Find that place of support. Left knee over left ankle, right knee right underneath, right hip flexor. Try to keep everything square, like your glutes square to the back of your space. Your hip flexors, which that left hip flexor right now is bent, and you probably can't really, there's not a lot of room there, but those headlights are still shining forward. And then only bringing yourself up into the reach above your head, if that's what makes sense. You can always just keep your hands at your heart, breathing full and deep in that knee down warrior one. Remember to use the ball of your left foot. Breathe full and deep, and then take your time. Find the place that supports you. You're going to bring that right leg, you're going to bring that right foot behind you to the left. That left foot is going to come forward. Keep that big bend in the knee, but then open yourself up to the long edge. So your right hip flexor and the inside of your left knee are pressing away. Breathing full and deep, inhaling and exhaling. Try to find that engagement with your lower girdle. Try to find that engagement with your upper girdle. Basically your front body always reaching up. Your back body always reaching down. So you're always trying to find that circular motion of lifting and anchoring down all the time. It's almost like you're tethered, but then yet you've got the buoyancy to fly more if you so desire. All right. Left elbow, left limb to left limb. Take your time. Don't put a lot of pressure. It's not about collapsing onto that leg. It's about staying lifted and finding that reach with that right side so you feel that wonderful, wonderful stretch. Breathing full and deep. And then you're back into the knee down warrior two, looking over those left hands. Flipping that palm, coming to that beautiful reverse warrior. That right hand only has to go as far as your midline. It never has to go any further. It does not have to do a crazy reach or bind. It only has to go to your midline. That's as far as it ever needs to go the whole rest of your life. All right, come back into that warrior two. Make sure you feel nice and supported. You're going to rotate yourself back into that knee down position, let yourself rest back into that child, taking that rest, that very, very much needed rest down to completely reset from all those moves, inhaling and exhaling. Full, deep breaths, filling up belly, ribs, chest, exhaling fully, chest, ribs, belly. And then the next place we're going to go is on to the stomach. This next little series, it's one of those ones that people either love it or hate it, but if you do it, it really does make a difference. So I really want to encourage you to try to come into the poses. A lot of people probably think, and for a long time, I was one of those people, I didn't think it was really working, but I'm so glad I went to a billion yoga classes and did these locust positions. So when you get down, of course, rest. I've got glasses on, so I'm not going to bring my head down. You can always bring your hands down, and you can, once again, rest your forehead in that third eye. You can bend your knees in windshield wiper, and then after you feel complete, let those legs extend. Bring the legs together so you're always pulling into the midline of your body. Do that pelvic engagement, so drop that tail, fire up those hip flexors so that lower girdle is engaged, hands down by your sides. And if you do palms down, then you can even walk your hands a little bit down, your legs a little bit more. You're looking down at the floor. And if you are doing that little bit of engagement, just lifting your shoulder, your collarbone, and your face up off the mat, then you are in a lot of engagement. But if you want more engagement, stay kind of low with your upper body and just let your lower body, so think about squeezing your legs together and then letting them lift. So the more you squeeze them together, the little bit more they're going to lift up off the ground. Maybe the knees come up, or all of the thigh, not the hip flexors though. And then if you want to add the upper body where you lift and stretch, so you are trying to stretch long on your mat, not really up to the sky, more toward the baseboard in front and behind you. And then you're going to let it all go down. Windshield wiper, completely reset, inhaling and exhaling. Breathing full and deep. And then back into that same position. This time, so your legs are together. This time your hands are going to be right by where your shoulders are. You're still engaging all those girdles. Let's just lift the upper body a few times. So lower and lift. So you're really trying to lower and lift from that center, from your navel down. Really feel your lower body be like in cement. And then pause. Let yourself bring those elbows now underneath those shoulders. Spread those hands wide in front of you. And if you do want to, if it would be a little bit more comfortable, know that walking your legs a little bit further apart, but keeping them pretty active and engaged is always good. And then breathe here in this Sphinx posture, only pulling yourself forward as much as feels good. Breathing full and deep. And then press into those hands, lift those elbows, let them splay as you bring your forehead down to the mat. And so your upper body is now on the mat, and I recommend putting your forehead on your fingers. And I've only got my head lifted so I can keep talking to you. Then paying attention to your shoulders and your elbows and your knees, always protecting everything. Let that left arm reach behind you to that left knee, or bend that left knee and reach for that left foot. And then it also feels good to reach that right arm forward and then feel that stretch from down your front body. And maybe a little bit into the side, into the back, never hurting any of your joints. Inhaling and exhaling, bring that right arm back. If you had it reached, bring that left arm back. If you had it reached, pause, bend the opposite knee, reach with the opposite arm. Do whatever feels good to you, inhaling and exhaling. So now you get this nice, wonderful stretch on the front body with this. I love doing this on the floor. Dancer on the floor, inhaling and exhaling, and then letting that go, and then once again coming into your windshield wiper move, or maybe just a gentle wiggle on the floor. Doesn't matter what it looks like. And then hands underneath those shoulders, lift yourself up, take your time, come into that table position, move through a few cat and cows. And then find yourself back in that child. Rest down completely. Breathing full and deep. And then lifting yourself up to come onto your seat. Once again, find that comfortable seat. Make sure that you feel supported. Do whatever you need to do in order to, do whatever you need to do in order to feel comfortable. Doing any movement, dropping those knees side to side, or just settling into that comfortable seated position. And then let yourself just be in that comfortable position. Your legs don't have to be too tight up against. They can be, a little bit extended so you've got a wider base to feel comfortable. And then arms reach. Pay attention to that shoulder girdle. Reaching those arms wide. Right arm up, left arm down. And then bend elbows, right elbow into that left elbow, and come into eagle arms, palms together or backs of the hands, or you can always reach for your shoulders. Lift your elbows no matter what you're doing, and find that length in that lower trunk as you lift those elbows up a little bit higher. And then we're going to come into a hanging knot. And so come forward as much as feels good. Really feel your base engage so you feel supported. This can also be not only in the shoulder, but if you come forward, it can be an intense stretch over the low back and the glutes. So you're in charge of where you're taking that intensity, inhaling and exhaling, and then lift yourself. Take your time. You're going to unwind. You're going to pause. Notice how you feel. You're going to do any adjustments with your lower body in order to feel supported. And then arms out to the side. Lift that left arm, right arm down. Just make sure you do the opposite. Keep that shoulder girdle engaged. Let those arms come to wherever. It doesn't have to be palms in prayer. It can be reaching for your shoulders. Stay with that sensation of lifting those elbows so you get that length in that torso from chest to navel. And then stay with that sensation no matter what you're doing with your arms, and come forward into that hanging knot, breathing full and deep. And I've got my feet flexed here, and I've got my knees pressing gently away in order to stay in that engaged position with my lower body so it supports me. And then bring yourself up, and you're going to once again unwind and just take a breather or two here on your mat, noticing how you feel, inhaling and exhaling, breathing full and deep. And then you're going to find yourself on your back. Take your time getting there. If you need any cushion, if you do want cushion for your head, of course it's fine. Just make sure it's not too terribly thick. You want to have that nice extension on your neck, so you've got that nice long neck. Before you do too much with your body, keep those knees bent and let yourself just do that windshield wiper. Move again, back and forth. Here's where you're engaging your trunk, your lower girdle, in order to feel supported. It's also the sensation of being under one of those heavy weighted blankets, and you've just got room to tuck your legs and your arms through, and there's room for your face, but everything else is really heavy, and you want to have that sensation of heaviness like your crack coming to the mat, especially if you pick up your feet, because if you don't have that support, picking up your feet can hurt your low back, and you do not want to cause any more damage. You always want to be protecting, so you're letting yourself move however feels good. If you have the feet up, those circles with the legs where you get that nice sacrum massage are sometimes wonderful right here. Maybe your arms are out to the side and you are gently rolling side to side to feel that oblique stretch. I want you to do whatever feels good in your body. So if it just looks like a little move like this, and that's what feels good, then you know you're doing exactly what you need to do. All right, after a few moves, whatever you're doing with your feet, you're going to bring them flat to the floor. We're going to do that pelvic engagement. So I like to bring my hands into a diamond, thumbs and forefingers together, thumbs at navel, forefingers at pubic bone. And so navel is 12, pubic bone is 6, just like a clock. And just do that pelvic tilt. It's a little tiny move. You're dropping the 6 and then pulling up with the 12. And it's a, like I said, a gentle, subtle move that looks different in everyone's body, but you have some sort of move there that you're looking for to find that stability. And then after 12 to 6 for a while, then start to do 9 to 3. So this is glute and hip flexor moving, not navel and pubic bone. And so all of this is subtle. I'm really trying to exaggerate it up here. If your knees are moving a lot, then it's not really your hips moving, and so it's something you need to play around with and keep working on. And I highly recommend to do that because it adds so much to your body. All right, keep pulling that tail down. Find that perfect place for you. Hands down by your sides. Lift up into that bridge position and then lower down, because I forgot an important thing. Before you go any further, let your arms reach up in that snow angel move. And if you, like I almost just knocked my drink over, let yourself move slowly. Bring them up over your head. But if you got to move out of the way, something out of the way, or you need to move, let yourself have that room to move your arms in that snow angel move. And then back into that beginning bridge position. And lower and lift a few times. And then about the third or fourth lift, add that snow angel. And so coordinate breath and movement. And after a few snow angels, you can also keep those shoulders engaged. You can also do the reach up above and then bring them back down, or some combination. Sometimes I like to reach one up and one down. And then find yourself in that position with the hips lifted and the backs of the hands on the mat behind you. Stay with that length of your low back. Keep pressing your tail to the backs of your legs. Keep your knees pulled together and lower down one vertebrae at a time. and then come down, and then your arms can come back down to your sides, and then let yourself rock, circle, whatever feels good in order to reset. Let yourself move however feels good. And then feet back flat on the floor, right ankle on the left knee. Really engage that right side from right glute to right heel. So press that right knee away. Think about pressing both your glutes down evenly. Feel your hip flexors engage. And you can stay right here. This is quite a big stretch. But if you want a little bit more, lift that left foot. Gently reach through with that right hand to the back of that left thigh. Don't pull too much. If you come up, right, bring yourself back down and try to find that engagement. Breathing full and deep. Stay with that flexed foot. Inhaling and exhaling on both feet. Stay with that engagement from glute to heel. Both legs. Feeling that breath. Staying with your body, not doing anything too harsh, like pulling too hard on the back of that leg. Stay here for a couple more breaths. You've worked up some nice oxygenated blood. This is getting deep into some nooks and crannies that don't typically get that oxygenated blood. This is reclining pigeon, especially if you're pressing those glutes away too. As you pull your knees closer, press those glutes away. Or pull pull the knees down towards your body. All right, you're going to let go. If you've got that left foot, that left leg up, your hand on that left thigh, let that left foot come down. Let that right foot come down. Do a few windshield wipers, whatever feels good to reset. And then make sure you're supported, right knee down. Bend that left knee, left ankle, flexing, pressing that left knee away. Feel those hip flexors engage. Really breathe full and deep. So it's this wonderful sensation of engaging your front and your back body and feeling it completely support you, and your low back staying in that position of support as you lift, because this can be hard on your low back because you need a strong lower belly in order to do that. It doesn't have to be a flat lower belly. It just needs to be a strong lower belly. Flat lower bellies, they happen, but they shouldn't be the goal. Breathe full and deep, and it's not the ideal. I know it's shoveled to you as the ideal, but your body is the ideal however it is. So stay with your breath. Be amazed at what you've done with your body over this we're almost to an hour. We're getting ready to go into relaxation after a couple more stretches on our back. Take your time letting go of this pigeon on the opposite side and doing whatever feels good as far as a reset goes. Letting yourself rock, circle. Make sure you can feel your whole back and body on the mat. Spend time trying to really press down and come into a happy baby. If it would feel good, that is where you keep those knees bent and you reach for anywhere on those feet, or once again, gently behind those legs, right? Don't pull too hard. You're never pulling hard because you don't want to do any damage. And you're letting yourself rock and circle and move just like a happy baby would, inhaling and exhaling. And then let those legs come down, arms come out to the side, your feet can be up or down. Let those knees go to whatever side feels good. So it doesn't matter if the feet are up or down. Try to keep that opposite shoulder blade connected. Inhale and exhale. Remember which way you went, and then let yourself fall to the opposite way. Breathing full and deep. Fill up belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling fully, chest, ribs, belly. And then back to on your back. Let yourself curl up into a ball. Hug your chin and nose towards your chest. To your legs. Inhale and then exhale. Let yourself just release down into your relaxation. Of course, if you want a blanket or you need to pull on socks, take a moment to do that. Letting yourself rest here. I am going to rest here with you for a couple minutes, and then I will get up and hopefully not disturb you. I want you to keep laying there for a few more minutes, and I will wake you with my voice. Practice is over. Everyday life is waiting for you. Don't just jump right into it. savor the quietness for a while. Whatever your next actions are, do them with mindfulness. Allow this heightened awareness to linger throughout the rest of your day. Notice the openness in your body as you move. Smile often and pause frequently. Take time to return to awareness. After all, that is what you are practicing, awareness. Enjoy it. Your awareness is at your breath and your body. Your breath moving in your body, a little twitch into your fingers and your toes. A gentle circling into the wrists and ankles. Take your time coming into the bend of the knees and the elbows. And then hug and rock and circle there on your back for a couple breaths. And then take your time, roll to one side. Rest in that fetal-like position, that very first position you were ever in. Once again, connecting to that deep, full 3-part yoga breath, and really let your body, your navel, press right into the space in front of you. And then pull it back in at the exhale so you feel connected to your life force. And you are grateful to yourself for being born, and you are grateful to yourself for honoring your body with yoga, and now you can go forth and do awesome stuff. So whatever shoulder is to the sky, that's the hand you press down into the floor in front of your face or chest, and then walk yourself up into that upright seated position, and then hands can come to your heart. Revisit the intention you set. See if it's something you can take with you off the mat. And definitely this idea of connecting to your support and the power there, and then feeling the potential for more. You're stretching into that space around you is something that you can continue to feel even off the mat, and I encourage you to do that. Thank you so much for joining. Stay safe and well. Namaste.